Last few weeks we've been reading out of the 15th chapter of the Gospel of John, one of my favorite chapters in all the Bible. And we're focused on one concept, one key word in the 15th chapter of the Gospel of John. It's the word abide. And we said the last 2 weeks that there are ways to abide, or acts of abiding, if you want abiding to be a reality in your life. And so the first one we said, abiding is an act of hearing. Secondly, abiding is an act of faith or trust. Today we want to look at the third act of abiding. Abiding is an act of obedience. So if you look in John chapter 15, verse 4, the very first part of that verse, this is what the scripture says. Abide in me, Jesus said, and I will abide in you. This is not a suggestion. This is a command. Jesus said, abide in me. And then he gives a promise. If you abide in me, stay close to me, remain in me, be intimate with me, then the promise is, I will abide in you. And listen, if Christ abides in you and you have an intimate relationship like that, your life will never be the same again. So it's an act of obedience. Listen to this. The Christian life is not primarily based on knowledge, but obedience. To know and not to do is not to know at all. Nothing is more weakening than to be continually inspired by great truth from the Bible and to never act upon it. So a number of years ago, the speaker was speaking in Atlantic City, and he was telling a story about an old sailor who was talking to an apprentice. He said to the apprentice, "Aboard a man of war, my lad, there are only two things. Number one is duty. Number two is mutiny." And so this whole subject of obedience, I cannot tell you how critical it is. None of us in this lifetime, no matter how long we've known Jesus and had a relationship with him, will be perfectly obedient. But we need to be progressing and growing in our obedience. And so the scripture says in 1 John 5, 14 and 15, Jesus says, or the scripture says, I should say, this is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask, we know that he will give us what we have asked for. Now that sounds almost like a blank check deal. And so is this saying that if I pray for him to heal me from my illness, will he do that? Maybe. If I ask him to make me financially secure, will he do that? Maybe. If I ask him if he'll fix me up with a sharp guy or sharp gal, will he do that? Well, maybe. If I ask him to give me the grace and the ability to abide and stay close to him, will he do that? Yes. He will definitely do that. And so you see, he always gives you the ability you and I need to do what he's asked us to do. So what if I fail? What if I don't do exactly what he wants me to do in obeying him in everything in my daily life? Listen to this. God doesn't forgive excuses. He forgives sin. Someone said this, the essential thing in heaven and earth is that there should be a long obedience in the same direction. There thereby results, and has always resulted in the long run, something which has made life worth living. So there you go. The third act of abiding is an act of obedience. Where do you need to obey him in your life? You think about that.